Hey guys, this is Austin. I recently checked out a $150 smartphone, but what happens when you bring that budget down to $80? Shout out to Metro PCS for sponsoring this video. This is the Alcatel A30 Fierce. Typically for $80, you really shouldn't expect much out of a smartphone, but at least on paper this looks decent. Take a look inside the box, and the first thing we see is 2 free months of Amazon Music Unlimited. So there are actually a couple of different Amazon tie-ins with this phone. Specifically, it actually does have Alexa support. If you guys want the code, it's all yours. So we were definitely well into the budget end of the spectrum here, but it actually doesn't feel too bad in the hand. So yes, it is a little bit on the larger side with a 5.5-inch screen, and yes, it is made out of plastic, but it feels reasonably sturdy, and it does have this kind of interesting textured finish. Pop off the back, and the first thing you'll see is a giant "please do not remove this battery under any circumstances" warning, but above that, not only do we have a microSD card slot, but also where we put our SIM in. Hardware-wise, this has pretty much everything you would expect. So not only do you have a headphone jack, but you also do have a micro USB port. Would have been nice to see USB-C, but it doesn't really matter at this price point. And you also do have the volume rocker as well as the slightly textured power button. This guy is rocking a 5.5-inch 720p IPS display. So just like with the Moto E4 Plus, it's nice to have a big display, and the resolution, even though it's a little bit low, really isn't too bad for a budget device. So it does get reasonably bright. However, a couple of areas where you can notice the budget price come through is with color reproduction and the actual feel of the display. It just doesn't feel quite as premium as something higher end with Gorilla Glass. Hey guys, this is Austin. This is the Moto E4 Plus, and it might just be all the smartphone you need. For video, I feel like the bigger display actually is a really nice feature, and while the audio isn't amazing, it's a lot better than a lot of other budget phones just because it does have a single front-firing speaker. It's not stereo, but it definitely does sound a lot better than something coming out the bottom or the back of the phone. It also does have that support for Amazon Alexa, so if you double tap the power button, who is Austin Evans?
Austin Evans is a tech reviewer with a self-titled YouTube channel.
It also does have a fingerprint sensor, which is especially nice to see on such a budget device. So it works just as you would expect. Put your finger on it and it will immediately unlock the phone and get you straight into it. Spec-wise, it's pretty standard. So we have a quad-core MediaTek 6738 processor, 2 GB of RAM, as well as 32 gigs of storage that is expandable with that microSD card slot. So while it might not be a huge value add, having 32 gigs of storage on an $80 phone is actually kind of nice. It's not like, you know, you can pay $600 for a 16 gig phone somewhere else or anything.
That's why we don't get invited.
Inside, it has a 3000 milliamp hour battery. That's about the same size as a lot of flagships, but because of the power sipping internals, this should easily be able to last a day. And of course, since it's running on Metro PCS, you can get up to 2 lines for $75 a month of unlimited data without gimmicks like speed caps. So far, the A30 seems like a completely decent budget Android phone, but I want to put it through a few challenges. Asking for a friend. Can it game? You definitely have to keep in mind that this is a budget smartphone, but let's throw a few games at it and see what happens. First off, we have Super Mario Run. Now, this is not exactly an incredibly graphically demanding game, and to be fair, it's not the smoothest frame rate I've ever seen, so we are dropping a couple frames here and there, but it's totally playable. Next, we've got Mortal Kombat X. This actually works pretty well. Yeah, it's not gonna go blow away like a console or something, but this looks totally fine. Last but not least, we have Real Racing 3. So performance isn't amazing, but again, this is an $80 phone that's essentially able to run most of the graphically demanding games that are available on Android. Are you able to vlog?
So this is what it would be like if I was a vlogger and it's 110 degrees outside. I would just complain a lot for about 5 minutes or so and then maybe move on to something else.
Can you live stream? So, my first question is, this is an $80 smartphone. Can you guys tell the difference on Instagram Live?
Not bad, not bad, looks good for 80 bucks. Yeah, I totally think so.
Can you take a fast photo as if you see a celebrity? You never know when you find a wild Ken Bolito in the wild. Ready, and boom, got it. It's not a very good picture, but I got it fast. It's not perfect. If you have a little bit more budget to work with, I really do like the Moto E4 Plus, but for $80, the Alcatel A30 is definitely worth a look. So what do you guys think about the phone? Let me know in the comments below, and I will catch you in the next one.